All right, folks, good afternoon, everybody. What you're looking at, hi there, Chris. What you're looking at is there's Brenda, Homeland Security raid right now in the city of Cranston. I'm going to give more details, but this is a raid. They raided this home in Cranston, Homeland Security. Again, good afternoon, everybody. You're watching. This is a Homeland Security raid. I have a pinned comment, Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm not giving out the address right now, but the people you see, those are all agents with Homeland Security. Obviously, you see a number of boxes. They're sorting through everything connected with Home Depot. Again, this is, thank you for the start. This is Road Patrol Live. What you're looking at is, this is Cranston, and we have a raid going on with Homeland Security. Again, Homeland Security is conducting this raid. They raided this home early this morning, and that's what you're looking at coverage. Some other news of the day, obviously, Mayor Hopkins. Again, I want to repeat, though, this is Road Patrol Live at 1228 in the East. And we have, what you're looking at is a Homeland Security raid. I do have an email into the office to try to find out exactly what this is about. But this is a raid by Homeland Security in the city of Cranston, Rhode Island. Again, this is Road Patrol Live. Now you see, you can make out Home Depot boxes. When we've been to some of these before, there's some instances where there's been, you see all the cars around here, by the way, are all connected to this raid. I just want to pan, you can see, and they're all unmarked vehicles that are marked around here. And then all these agents you see are with the Office of Homeland Security. I want to just show everybody, there's an awful lot of activity, all undercover vehicles. But all these agents are with Homeland Security. I do have an email into their office to try to get some more information. When we've seen some of this in the past, this has to do with, well, we're going to leave it. We've seen some of these in the past where they do a raid. It seemingly has to do with people that they allege get items somehow from Home Depot. And so this is in Cranston, Rhode Island that you're looking at. Again, thank you for the stars, everybody. Again, we are live right now. We are also live on both Facebook and TikTok. This is Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm going to do a pin. Let's see. There we go. Now, folks, again, if you like this type of live police coverage, you're watching this live raid, everybody on TikTok, how about an iced coffee? It's going to be a long day. It was a long night watching the debate. Why not send along an iced coffee? I'd love a nice iced coffee. That'd be terrific. Again, folks, this will be our Road Patrol report. This is what we've wanted to do. So we are live right now on Facebook. Share that you're watching, but you can see all those Home Depot boxes lined up. They're going in and out of the house. Now, normally, I don't know, but normally in something like this, they have the homeowners leave the home. You see there's a vehicle in the driveway with no plate. I don't know what that, but this whole area is surrounded by Homeland Security agents. We've been on some of these where it's both FBI and Homeland Security. But you can see some agents right there at the table are processing what they're going through. There's an awful lot of materials here. Again, I do have word into the Homeland Security. A lot of people think of just Homeland Security as terrorism, but they get involved with a lot of different type of activity. And I do have email. I've dealt with them in the past and do have some email into them, trying to get some more information about this. I'm not going to give that out just yet, because it's still an active raid. But I can tell you we're not far from Park Avenue. It's right in the pin, Cranston, Rhode Island. Make sure you follow the page. Click the like button. Again, if you like, this is happening right now in real time. They raided this home early this morning. And they're removing these items from both the house and the garage. House and the garage. No, this is a raid. They have their own system. They know what they're looking for, put it that way. That's exactly right, Michelle. Homeland Security raid. I'm trying to get in touch with them right now. I'm not disclosing whose home it is. Okay, we'll see what we hear back from Homeland Security. Nope, there's a Homeland Security raid. Well, I don't know. See, there's an awful lot of Home Depot boxes. Now, there have been some different scams involving Home Depot. So again, this is Cranston. And also the big news overnight, Cranston Mayor Ken Hopkins did hold on and did emerge. He won his primary against his challenger, Barbara Ann Fenton-Fung. No, there's boxes from both the home and the garage. You see all these items that they're packing everything up. But this is unusual that Homeland Security would be involved in this. Make sure you click the like button and follow the page if you like live police action like that. This is a raid that's going on right now. I'm not revealing that. Again, good afternoon, everybody. This is Road Patrol Live. We're in Cranston, Rhode Island, and what you see happening right now is this is Homeland Security that is conducting this raid, this home, going through all this evidence. It's unusual when they do these. We have covered some of these before, but it's unusual when you see something like this, that the agents come out in this manner. So I'm not going to speculate on exactly what's involved in this, but we have seen some of these raids in the past. So again, depending what platform you're watching, nope, this is a Department of Homeland Security raid. And again, if you like live police action, make sure you follow the page, click the like button. You can see some of the police stuff that we do on this page, Road Patrol Live. You can also send an iced coffee if you do like the coverage. This is Cranston, and this they've been here, so they showed up at this home. They have the proper search warrants to be able to do it, and you can see them very methodically. These are all agents with Department of Homeland Security going through all the different rooms. It has been busy. Well, something's up. Something's up with this raid. You get Homeland Security involved. There's clearly something up. Good afternoon, everybody. We said we were going to put road patrol on the road, and we are on the road. What you're looking at right now, and I mean during this time, it's just 12:45 in the east. So again, I want to sum up. Good afternoon, everyone. What you're seeing right now at 12:46 on this Wednesday, day after the election, day after the debate, and this is a raid that's being conducted by the Department of Homeland Security. They raided this home behind me. I'll tell you that we are not far from Cranston Stadium, not far from right off of Park Avenue. Because of the nature of this, I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but I can tell you that agents have been going at it. You can see them processing everything. And I do have an email into Homeland Security to try to get some more information on this raid. All right, again, 12:55. You're watching, this is Road Patrol Live. And what you're looking at right now, this is a raid by Homeland Security on this home in Cranston, Rhode Island. Agents have been here since early this morning, executed a search warrant at this home. And you can see them, they've been going through things in both the home and the garage. And they're using these Home Depot boxes to box up these various items. So now there's several agents on scene that you can see that they have the designation, but Homeland Security. But you can see, for instance, that female officer right in front of you. You can see the badges. You can all see that they all have weapons. So these are all agents with Homeland Security. Sometimes you see the vehicle that says Homeland Security. This particular time, they all seem to be in unmarked vehicles. But many times you see the Homeland Security truck or official vehicle that they have. But you can see they have the green hats. I recognize a number of them. But you can also tell they all have badges. You can tell they all have handguns on them. You see the badge in the front. And then you also see the handgun they're all have on their right-hand side. So some of the various individuals, as they are working here and going through all these items, when they flip around, now that I think you can notice, for instance, the officer coming out of the house right now, when she comes into view, you're going to notice her badge, and then you're going to notice they all have the badge and the handgun. And they're going through all these various items. Now again, what exactly is involved? Most of the time, Homeland Security gets involved in the past. Now again, we don't know what is involved with this particular situation. I've dealt with Homeland Security in the past. I'm waiting to hear back from them. But many times when you see this type of activity, it has to do with stolen merchandise that has gone over state lines. So you also see, I think they have their tactical gear there. Now again, they executed a search warrant this morning, and so you don't know how that's going to go. But it was early this morning they arrived here, and so they've been here obviously going on several hours. Now, all of the boxes that you see packed up on the left side of your screen, I believe those are all from items that they will be removing and taking with them. So it seems very extensive. So we're going to stay right here, only because number one, we never know what can happen. And then number two, it's not every day. We haven't had a Homeland Security raid on anything like this in quite some time. So again, we have two different live streams going. We're live on Facebook, and we're also live on TikTok. If you're on Facebook, if you like the Road Patrol action, share that you're watching. You can also send stars. We're the only media outlet here right now with this raid. No one else, I don't think, knows about it. Now, if you're on TikTok, you want to like the page. And let's see, no one has sent a nice coffee yet. All right. Thank you, Matt Foley. Yes, they raided early this morning. Yes, thank you, Matt Foley. Who will be the first one to send a nice coffee? At the very least, make sure you follow the page if you like live police action. There is a pinned comment. There's a pinned comment about what's the nature of the raid. And it's Homeland Security investigations. All right, now we are live on Facebook, we're live on TikTok, and we're going to go live on the radio now momentarily. Thank you for those nice gifts on Facebook, Amber. Thank you. Take the ice cream cones. Some people wondering exactly what the hell's going on here, which I can understand. Now, this gentleman just came out of the house. You can see on the back, I think it says police, yeah. And see that HSI? There it is. It's almost like he's posting. HSI is Homeland Security Investigations. Homeland Security Investigations. All right, there we go, JR. There we go, JR. Good connection on my end. Again, everybody, good afternoon. You're watching, this is Road Patrol Live. And what you're looking at, see that HSI? That's Homeland Security Investigations. And they've conducted a raid. This home, Cranston, Rhode Island. They're going through the house and the garage. These are all the agents lined up. Share that you are watching. Again, we are only media that is on scene for this raid that has taken place. They showed up early this morning, HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. So we are going to stand by. Now, right now, we are live on Facebook. We're live on TikTok. Thank you for the iced coffee on TikTok. Make sure you follow the page and click the like button if you like this live type police action. And then, so we're also live on Facebook, TikTok, and we're about to go live on the radio. AM 1380, 99.9 FM. And then you can always listen online on our website, which is dpetro.com. So, dpetro.com. So we're going to go live in just a moment, but we're also going to touch on last night and what that was all about. But what you're looking at right now is you wonder what a raid looks like in a movie, television. You know, it's very dramatic. No, it may have been this morning. We don't know. And you see all the agents. See how they have, you see the guns on the right side, the holster, and then they all have the badges right there. And they're all identified in that manner. So again, just to repeat, right now it's 105 in the east. 105 in the east. And you're looking at this is our Road Patrol Live. We go live from 1 to 2, depending, especially if there's a scene. Today there is a scene. And we're bringing it to you. Now, for those of you that are new, make sure you follow the page. We will be doing Road Patrol Live. It's been a very busy week. And again, we're back in Cranston. So now on Facebook, Linda is our moderator, along with Catherine. We do have a pinned comment on both platforms. There's a pinned comment. It's an HSI raid in the city of Cranston, which stands for Homeland Security Investigations. Homeland Security investigations have raided this home and this garage in the city of Cranston. So you look at all the info that they have. There's some people going by, waving. Due to the nature of this, we're not disclosing just yet. Now, and we are live on the radio. Folks, at 106, good afternoon. You're listening and watching. This is the John DePietro Show. This portion of our program we call the Road Patrol Report. And right now, as we speak, yes, we are live on our Facebook page, which you can share and type in someone's name. Yes, we are also live on TikTok. And yes, we are also live on the radio. So all radio and TikTok and Facebook. And the reason why, for those that are just tuning in, what you're looking at is this is a raid that is being conducted right now in the city of Cranston. And what you see the individuals. You even see they have handcuffs on them. Handcuffs, weapons, badges. These are members of Homeland Security, and they are conducting this raid. Now, that female agent right in front of you, you see, you've got a good look at her badge. And then also, they obviously all have handguns on them, as you can imagine. Just the fact they're agents of Homeland Security. It's also very significant. Couple things here. Now, there's a lot going on during this Road Patrol report. Number one, it is obviously the anniversary of September 11th. You know what's interesting, folks, is when September 11th happened, and everyone has their own story. Everyone knows where they were. Everyone can talk about how it's impacted their life. But what is significant is there was no Homeland Security back on September 11th. 23 years ago. There was no Homeland Security. That was formed after September 11th. But right there on your screen, you can see that HSI. So now a lot of people are familiar with CSI, but HSI is Homeland Security Investigations. And these are all the individuals and the agents that you're seeing. Now, for those that are keeping track in Cranston, what a streak Cranston has been on. Cranston, Rhode Island. It goes back to the Ferrari home invasion, a Ferrari stolen. Then last Tuesday night, we had the armed standoff that resulted in a death. That went on for hours a week ago. That was last Tuesday night. Then we had the standoff Friday night. And then Saturday night, we were at the home invasion. Congratulations, Cranston Mayor Ken Hopkins. He prevailed. He had a primary against Barbara Ann Fenton Fung. And came up short. So she came up short, excuse me. So Mayor Hopkins remains the mayor of Cranston. We'll catch up with him at some point. But he actually won very convincingly. When you win by over 1,000 votes, that's not... he won by over 1,000 votes in a primary where were not a lot of votes cast. So this was not a... It was not a 52-48. It wasn't a 55-45. This was a very convincing win by Mayor Hopkins. Now, folks, we want to stay on schedule because obviously everybody today is also talking about the debate. But I want to stay on schedule. And this portion of our program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Look at the different people as they're coming by. And I understand people are wondering, like, what exactly is going on. PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane. That woman just asked, is this a yard sale? And the Homeland Security agent said, ma'am, I assure you it's not a yard sale. PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Look for them on Facebook. Fall is in the air. Homegrown mums and kale are outstanding. Sizes ranging 4-inch, 12-inch pots, ornamental peppers, 4-inch to 6-inch pots, everything you need for your fall decorations and more. Pumpkins, straw bales, corn stalks, gourds, Indian corn, native vegetables, local honey maple syrup. This is the ideal time to plant. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Mulch, loam, crushed stone, always available. They're open 7 days a week. Now, make sure you check out the website, dpetro.com. which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn. The Coesit Inn, remember, lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They also have the market at Coesit. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Now again, I want to repeat, for those that are watching the program, and we are live on both TikTok and Facebook, what you're looking at is these are agents. You see that gentleman with his back to you, and you see the female agent with her badge displayed. They have the handguns. I think she even has 2 guns. One could be a taser, but that is Police HSI is Police Homeland Security Investigations, and they have taken over. This was a raid. What you're looking at right now, this is a live raid going on. They showed up with search warrants for the home and the garage. The residents of the home had to evacuate, and these agents have been on scene here for several hours now. So that's what you're looking at, but I'm also going to use this opportunity, obviously, to touch on some of the news of the day. And I want to start off with the debate last night. Now, what you saw last night, hi there, there's some people saying hello. Now, folks, a lot has been said about the debate, and I'll say a couple things about it. Number one, as I've been saying, I just don't know how many. All right, here's I'm going to give just kind of spit out about the debate last night, and that is, if you want to think that President Trump did fine, then you can think that. However, if you want to be objective, she did so much better than I thought she would do. I'll tell you what. I also understand that there's people floating out that she was wearing earrings that can also act as an earpiece, and I'm not going to rule that out, because she was almost flawless. And I'll say that, like, no one is that good, and I mean there's nobody that is that good. So I am open to the idea. I really am, and I'm not a conspiracy person, but I am open to the idea that somehow they were communicating with her, because what she pulled off last night, I viewed as literally almost impossible. She dominated. Now, make no mistake about it. Especially the first half hour, unfortunately, of the debate set the tone. In the first half hour, I know people are criticizing ABC and David Muir. I believe it was that Lindsay Davis, who was almost acting as though she was with the Harris campaign. And the first half hour, he unfortunately for President Trump, he became unglued, and she got under his skin. She rattled him. He took the bait. He was losing his temper. He was going all over the place. He has to, this is what it's come down to. He has to decide if he wants to win this election. I don't know if there's going to be another debate. She wants a debate again. I think he should debate again. These debates are very consequential. But President Trump and his team have to decide how many mistakes with debates are they going to make while still trying to win the election. Because make no mistake about it, the first debate, they made the mistake with Biden by debating him that early. They shouldn't have taken the bait on that. He keeps falling for these traps. If they didn't debate Biden in June, Biden would still be the candidate right now. Biden would have gone into Chicago as the candidate. There's no way Biden would have left the stage and been pushed out in July. No way. So the Trump team, as much as people say Biden made the mistake by debating in June, I would argue it was actually the Trump team that made the mistake by debating in June, because that cost them the candidate they wanted. Now, as far as President Trump, we know he said, this is my 7th presidential debate. I don't need to prepare. Well, last night there were 2 people on the stage. One of the people was very prepared, and the other one was not prepared. So he has to decide. Now, if he says, I don't want to debate again, and I'm not going to prepare, then he can do that. But I think if he wanted to, if he would prepare, if he was more disciplined, there was a lot of things he could have gone after. I completely agree with everyone saying that ABC should have asked her about this and ABC should have asked her about that. His best line was at the very end. the end of the night in his closing when he said, where has she been for the past 3.5 years? So to try to, listen, I'm not going to say he had a bad night. He didn't prepare for the night. He didn't prepare properly for the night. If he wants to debate again, he's going to change the way he does it. Now, let's be realistic. How many people really saw it? How many people are going to make the decision off it? If you're listening or watching right now and you're a Trump supporter, last night made no difference. If you're listening and watching and you're a Harris supporter, last night probably encouraged them, and they're raising money off it, and then Taylor Swift came out with her big endorsement. But what is unknown is how many independent undecideds watched it, that debate last night in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Nevada, in Arizona. Those are the battleground states. So, and that's an unknown. What's an unknown is how many undecided voters in those states watched it, and then what was their takeaway. I found her to be rude. I found her to be smug. I found her, I was so furious the first half hour. I even had to like calm myself down. I was getting so angry. I hated the way she was smirking at him. I hated the condescending nature of when she was looking at him. She was so insulting. She was so nasty. It was all by design. They were all rehearsed insults. Just the way, and then she put her hands under her chin. She was so unlikable. People thought Hillary was unlikable. I mean, I've never been wanting to, I never yelled at the television the way I was last night. I didn't even yell at the TV watching Biden in 2020 or Hillary in 2016. It was so infuriating. I don't remember, I've never felt that way in a debate. She was smug, she was rude, she was nasty, she was condescending, she was insulting, but all of those things said, President Trump had the opportunity to not take the bait and flip it on her. When it came to the rallies, he should have talked about that he was almost had his life taken at one, and someone did have their life taken at one, and then the two people that are still in serious condition from those rallies. He should continue to talk about the border and how cities are unsafe and all these migrants that come flying in. You know, they're all screaming up and down that no one's eating dogs and cats. That's not the point. The point is that when you have 20,000 Haitians invade and take over a city, that no one's even ruling, the fact that they even have to say, no, the 20,000 Haitians are not eating cats and dogs, to me, that's the argument that you even have to say that. It's not that they're eating the cats and dogs in Springfield. It's the fact that they're even there, and it even has to be dismissed that they're eating cats and dogs. So no matter where you are, whether it is in Boston or whether it's in Providence or certainly in New York and obviously in Ohio and other parts of Massachusetts, the amount and influx of all these migrants coming in, and they're going into the schools and everything else, no one can deny that that's having an impact and who's paying for that. So I just believe there was an opportunity to not get into the weeds regarding whether or not they're eating cats and dogs, but just the fact that they're there, crime. And I think President Trump last night, I think he should have just stuck to the price of things. You go into the grocery store, you know, I think President Trump could have looked at the camera and said, you ask yourself, how much are you spending on groceries now compared to what you were spending 4 years ago? Look at the person to my left. She's part of the team that's responsible for that. I just think there was a calm nature that he could have delivered a lot of that. Hello. Hi there. Hi there. Hola. that he could have delivered that. And instead, he really, he just became unglued. And what is, I think it's concerning about the whole situation with the debate and with Harris and with President Trump is just the fact that her whole goal was to try to get under his skin. And that's what she did. Like, what I found frustrating is you would think that he would say, no matter what, I am not going to let this person rattle me. Like, no matter what, I am not going to let this person get me off my game plan. And I mean, I would think that he would just say that no matter what happens, he's not going to take the bait. He's going to stay with his plan, and he's not going to allow her to upset that. But that's clearly not what happened. And instead, you had a situation that, and I understand other people have noticed this as well. I think that's what's most concerning, is the fact that it's almost like a game, and you allow the other team to dictate the tempo and set the tempo. Hola. And pull off something like that. I get, listen, was she nasty? 100%. Was he almost within his right to lose his temper? Yeah, of course. But then, like, what are we talking about? What's the plan here? What's the goal? The goal to me is you're trying to win the general. So, and if you're trying to win the general, you're not going to fall and take the bait like that. Now, folks, on this Wednesday, and again, what you're looking at live this is a live raid. You see that T-shirt, HSI, that's Homeland Security Investigations. They're conducting this raid right now as we speak. Look at the agents. They all have their badges and guns. They serve these search warrants, and they're going through all these things at this home in Cranston, Rhode Island, the home in the garage. Someone asked me just last night, Mark contacted me and said he's having some problems with his feet. Who did I recommend? Well, there's three names. The three wise men is who I want to recommend. Dr. Colanino, Dr. Colanino, that's right. Dr. Rhoda and Dr. Batty. Okay, sorry about that, doctor. The three wise men. Where can you find the three wise men? Well, you can find them at Greenville Foot and Ankle, 401-949-3220. 401-949-3220. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist, located right in that Smithfield Medical Center on Route 5 in Smithfield. So whether it's skin conditions, bunions, hammer toe, they treat all fractures and sprains. Call the three wise men. They accept all health insurance. Listen, problems with your feet should not be accepted. It's not normal. Instead, contact Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist, the three wise men, and call and set up that appointment at 401-949-3220. You can also find them online on Facebook. It's Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. And again, call them today. The doctors, Dr. Rhoda, Dr. Batty, and Dr. Colanino. I can't believe I'm having problems. He's the nicest man. He is so knowledgeable. And maybe just because I'm on location in this manner. Folks, again, you're listening. Call them, and they will treat your problems with your feet. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, again, we are live. Thank you for the iced coffee on TikTok, and thank you for the stars on Facebook. You're watching. This is the Road Patrol Report, and what you're looking at right now is this is a live raid. See that T-shirt? HSI, Police HSI, that is Police Homeland Security Investigations, where as we speak, they're conducting a raid on this home in Cranston, and they've been here since early this morning. Many times when they turn, you see their badges, you see they all have handcuffs and guns. I think some of them have tasers as well. So, but again, I want to, last night, I'll say this about last night with President Trump. And again, I know some other people have said it, but it was, there's, even if you're a Trump supporter, it was a missed opportunity. It was a missed opportunity. However, I admit, she did what she pulled off last night. I have to, I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible by her. She has never done a presidential debate. The last debate she did was against Mike Pence, and I thought she was lousy, and everyone seemed to. She couldn't get through the CNN interview, and suddenly she steps up on the stage. I don't know. There's something very odd that was going on. I don't know how someone like her, who is not known for a strong work ethic, who, by all accounts, to me, is like not a serious person. And I don't understand how someone like her could pull that off last night. I really don't. The whole thing is odd. And that's why, and I know that some people are saying it's conspiracy stuff, but I'm actually open to the idea if there was some way that she was skirting the rules, because that, to me, that's how good she was. I couldn't believe how good she was. She set the tone. What I found most troubling, now again, do debates decide the election? Well, ask Biden about that. For some people that want to say debates don't matter, well, a lot of people don't watch it. That's true. How many people undecided in these battleground states watched it and then decided because of it? We don't know yet. But she wasn't terrible. I thought she was going to be terrible. She wasn't terrible. Taylor Swift gives the endorsement. Does that secure the election for Kamala Harris? No, but it doesn't hurt, and it'll help with fundraising. So, see, I just wonder if little things. Now, coming out of the convention, and since Biden left, she had a lot of momentum. The past couple of weeks, President Trump got the momentum back. But then last night, what I found most troubling last night, if you're a Trump supporter, is just that she allowed the tempo to be set. She was far more effective than Biden was. She was better than Hillary was. I think, again, if you're a Trump supporter, what would be troubling is how he allowed her to manipulate the discussion. Because, I mean, by all accounts, even with the media, the border is a disaster. The price of housing, the price of if you go to the grocery store, I mean, all those things are liabilities. But he allowed her to frame things a certain way that she was essentially able to get away with it. And I think even if you're a Trump supporter, that's the troubling part about it. And I think that's also, for me, that's the surprising part about it. Folks, this portion of the program, I want to remind you, now we're in Cranston, and if you're looking for a good pre-owned vehicle, Valari Motors, quality pre-owned vehicles, 1003 Park Avenue in Cranston. Stop it and see Paul. Great prices, great vehicles, terrific service. Valari Motors in Cranston. 27 years of specialized Volvo sales and service. It's Valari Motors. And don't forget, Paul Staskevich and then Stephen the mechanic. You can depend. Stop it and see them. Valari Motors, 1003 Park Avenue in Cranston. So, folks, again, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380. It's 99.9 FM. Now, also, as we speak, we are live on both Facebook and TikTok and the radio. So you can tune in. Now, as far as the election results, there were really no surprises with the election results in Rhode Island. The biggest race was, in fact, the fact that Barbara Ann Fenton-Fung, when she took out Nick Mattiello, that was a big deal. And then she got reelected, and then this time she gave up her seat, and she decided to run for mayor of Cranston. So I think it's tough. I know it's tough for the Rhode Island Republican Party to lose someone like that, who is, she has won elections. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to raise money. She knows how to campaign. To lose someone like that, that to me is a loss for the party. Now, folks, on this, again, it's a beautiful Wednesday. We will be doing Road Patrol Live later. Again, if you're on Facebook, make sure so many people follow the page. And again, if you're on TikTok, you want to click the like button. Make sure you follow the page, and I would love an iced coffee. I want to remind you, someone just... Christine sent me a message. Christine's thinking of upgrading her kitchen and asked me who I recommended. For me, it's a no-brainer. It's Dream Maker. You can stop in and see their state-of-the-art showroom, and they're located right on Greenwich Avenue in Warwick, right next door to Kachai, right down the street from Crown Plaza. Dream Maker, Dennis and Christina. You can call them at 401-433-7272. Dream Maker, they take you from concept to completion. Respect, integrity, customer focus. It's Dream Maker. Transition from dreams to reality with Dream Maker. Pop by or call, see them in their state-of-the-art showroom. It's Dream Maker. Stop in and see them today. Well, good afternoon. Again, you're listening. It is the John DePietro Show, folks. AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. And folks, again, what you're looking at right now is across the street. You see that this is a HSI, Homeland Security investigation raid. That's what you're looking at right now. You know what's interesting about getting back to, for those, and I realize some radio people can't see it, but the raid that is going on right now, when in reality, it's pretty tedious. A lot of times in television and movies, when you see a raid, it's very dramatic, and they bust the door down and go in and the whole thing. Now, they may have been like that when they first arrived, but for the most part, if anything, they're very tedious. You can see that those that are watching, they are very methodical as they're going through all the evidence. They're logging in all the evidence. And then I do have an email into Homeland Security investigations person that I speak with, who and I'll have the details. We'll have this video, and I'll have details up on the website. Usually they get back to me within a day, so later this afternoon. Now, on top of that, as I mentioned, it shouldn't be lost on anybody. Number one, look at this guy. This guy reminds me of September 11th, 2001. As I've talked about, as someone that had lived in the New York area, been in those towers. I had actually, when September 11th happened, I had moved out of New York less than 2 years earlier. So it was still very fresh. And I had been living in New York City. So it was still really raw. But I think, notice last night there were no questions. And I think there should have been questions. And I think, again, is the media there to do the job for President Trump? No. And many times last night, it did. It seemed like at least 2 against 1, many times 3 against 1. However, when President Trump was talking about all of these people, and they got lost on this business of whether or not they're eating pets, but I believe he should have, and you're going to hear the word, he should have pivoted into what today is. And did we learn our lesson from September 11th when we allowed people to enter our country who were not properly vetted, that wanted to do us harm? What you're looking at right now, these are agents. These jobs did not exist 23 years ago. They didn't. Homeland Security, the department, came together after September 11th. And I think it was a missed opportunity to not touch on. The real question is not whether or not Haitians are eating people's dogs and cats. The real story to me should have been that with all of these people from the outside coming into the country, it makes us more vulnerable. And I think if President Trump had harped on that, if he had really gone into that, I think that was an opportunity. And then I think it was an opportunity missed to talk about. And when you're debating on the eve of September 11th, I know. Well, listen, it wasn't all terrible. He was very good when he talked about that he fired those people, and that there's no accountability within the Biden administration. Much like there's no accountability within the McKee administration. Governor McKee, who's right now today in Washington pleading for leaders there to try to give him money for the bridge. And by the way, he's going to pretend they're giving him the money, even though it's not guaranteed. But he's trying to get this, quote, mega grant. They are so slow off the dime on this. But notice again, no one has been suspended. No one's been fired. No one lost their job. Nothing close to that. So I think President Trump, I thought that was really strong. That was a strong point. I think everything she said, I think President Trump, and that's why I really hope there's another debate, because I think if he's measured and calm, all he has to talk about is, okay, what have you been doing for the past 3.5 years? And if that's your plan, well, then why didn't you do that? Why didn't you execute that? All these things that you're saying that you're going to do, why didn't you do them? What have you been doing as vice president for the Biden administration? Because you haven't been doing that, right? You haven't been doing that. So I think, I'll also say, I know when President Trump likes to just say, you're the worst vice president we've ever had. He's the worst president that we've ever had. I think it's a little bit of, when you'd have to, in the past, do a term paper. When you do, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. I think he should frame out for people why he believes she is the worst vice president. Why President Biden is the worst president. I think reminding people and having people recognize that what he's saying is accurate would be very, very effective. And I didn't hear it last night. Again, they may say, well, he was saying the why, but I just wouldn't leave anything to chance. So I'm going to agree with, and I think it was, Laura Ingraham that said that it was a missed opportunity. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by J. Perry Paving. Remember, if you're thinking of getting your driveway paved, call J. Perry Paving today, 401-732-1730. J. Perry Paving, licensed and insured. They will pave your driveway. They can pave your parking lot. It's letter J. J. Perry Paving. Give them a call. They do a fantastic job. It's J. Perry Paving. Look for them on Facebook. And remember, if you are a veteran, no one has a better package for veterans than J. Perry Paving. Call them today, make an appointment, and get a free estimate. J. Perry Paving. Call them today. And if you're, especially whether it's a driveway or a parking lot or a patio, and remember, if you are a veteran or you have a family member who's a veteran, no one has a better package for veterans than J. Perry Paving. Give them a call. You can find them on Facebook and online at letter J, jperrypaving.com. Well, folks, again, it's 1:40 on this Wednesday, September 11th. What a massive news day it was. Between today is the anniversary of September 11th. Last night was the first presidential debate. Now, last night, the Harris campaign immediately said, oh, we'll do another debate. Sure. What are you kidding me? We'll do another debate. There's supposed to be another debate on NBC at the end of this month. Now, the Trump campaign, they said they would consider another debate. However, when President Trump was on Fox and Friends this morning, I think he said, well, I don't know if we're going to do another debate. So I don't know. I think we, all of us, would be better served if, in fact, there was another debate. But I'll also mention and say, however, he should only do another debate if he's going to take it seriously and actually prepare for the debate. Because there's many things you can say about Vice President Harris. And listen, was ABC with David Muir and Lindsay Davis, were they? Yeah, they were totally unfair. But you can't, as someone I think said last night, I think it was Scott Jennings said, okay, you want to complain about the refs, about a game, that's fine, and that's actually fair. However, but you can't complain about the refs and then you're missing your jump shot. And I thought that was pretty accurate. It's let's face it, it's not like President Trump did not bring his A game. He did not bring his A game. If that is his A game, then there's real problems. So I think, listen, this comes down, when you really think about it, this comes down to the decision of one person. He's the one that decided to run again. He is the only one that can take this seriously. He has to want it. And I'm already hearing people saying he's changed since the assassination attempt. Maybe he's different. Maybe he doesn't want it as much. Well, that's rather unfortunate if that's the case. I certainly hope that's not the case. But what we saw last night is, I don't know what that was, but it was certainly, no one is going to convince me and again, I get it. Yeah, they were biased. No question, ABC announcer. Yeah, David Muir, World News Tonight, and Lindsay Davis. Yeah, they were. And at times it did seem like 3 against 1, Harris and then the 2 moderators. At other times, at the very least, especially the first half hour, it was definitely 2 against 1. And that Lindsay Davis, the way she was framing the questions, the way she was talking to him, as you've heard, they didn't fact check her on anything. But all of those things that are true, at the same token, he didn't do himself any favors by allowing her to dominate the way that she did. And I don't know what to make of this, because we had heard, like many of you, we had heard that he was preparing this whole business that if Tulsi Gabbard is the one that prepared him for the debate, let's get someone else for next time. But again, I know from Trump world that notoriously he doesn't like to debate. He thinks it's a waste. He always has. And I get that he feels, hey, I've gotten this far and I haven't had to do it. And there's an interview where Steve Bannon, who was a big part of 2016, and Steve Bannon says Trump, he describes him as he's a game day player. He said he's like your college roommate that pulls an all-nighter the night before the exam, pot of coffee, stays up all night, crams, and somehow manages, a B- or a C+ or something like that. So that's how they describe him, that it's always a challenge to try to get him engaged with exactly what is going on. And I get it. I get it. He's now 77. He's going to be 78 next June. He almost lost his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. He, like everyone who is that age, you get tired a little more often. He may say, I just want to relax. I want to play a round of golf. I've done this. I don't need to prepare. I get that. But last night, unfortunately, one person seemed very prepared on that stage. Now, again, don't get me wrong. She wasn't fact-checked, meaning Harris. She was misleading. The moderators were definitely on her side. You know, on one hand, ABC did move through a lot of topics. I don't think the forum was bad. I don't think the muted mics was bad. I don't think the no audience was bad. I think if he, and I don't mean to be a broken record here, but I think if he was prepared, he could have done a much better job. I don't want to get into the whole business of like landed punches and that type of thing, but folks, it's like anything else. It's go back to school, and you're a student or your child. Either you're taking a test or your child's taking a test. I think anyone, for the most part, if you want to be honest, you can remember that there was maybe at some point a test or exam that you had to take and you didn't prepare properly. And how did that go? I always found that was like the worst feeling, because especially if you're in an exam and you realize, oh wow, if I had taken better notes or studied properly and mapped out the proper amount of time, I could be acing this. And I always think that's a worse feeling than there are exams that you try and it's just not the best you can do. So I know people were saying, they made a big deal about when he referenced the whole business of I'm talking now, and they were pointing out that that's what she said to Pence in 2020. I just question, is that going to get him any votes? I want to return to what I think must be tough for the Trump campaign is they know the answers. They know the answers. They know it's the border. They know it is, they know that it is the economy. So they know all of these things. And then instead, he allowed her to basically run the table and dictate of how it went. So I would still say, I think, if there's another debate, what he has to decide is, or just realize, or come to the realization, is there's no benefit to losing your temper, starting to raise your voice, and becoming unglued a little bit. There's no win there. Like that's not how you're gonna win. And I also think that when President Trump, should he decide to do this again, and we don't know, and again, good afternoon, everybody. It's 1:49, what you're looking at, or listening to, but this is a live raid that is Homeland Security investigations. They have been here. We're in Cranston since early this morning. They executed the raid, and what you're looking at is they are piling all these items from both the garage and the house, methodically going through them, marking them down by category and so forth, and very methodically going through and labeling, categorizing all of these items. Now, again, I did reach out to Homeland Security investigations, and we'll find out more. I will post an update on the website, depetro.com. Again, if you are watching on TikTok, please make sure you follow the page if you like live police action. Like the page, and if you do like this type of live stream coverage, I would love an iced coffee. Thank you. And for those that are on Facebook, thank you for all the stars, everybody. But again, it's not a garage sale and it's not a yard sale. This is a raid. We'll learn more. We'll learn more as the afternoon goes along. They don't say anything initially. So, but there's in the Home Depot boxes that we're using, I'm not going to read too much into that. Now, I do want to mention a couple of things. One thing, Frank reached out to me, and Frank needs his tree limbs trimmed. Asked who did I recommend, because there's a hurricane in Louisiana this afternoon. Call JD. Call JD Lawn Care and Tree Service at 401-441-0154. Call them, they'll take care of it. Now, folks, I also want to remind you, no, that's all right. I want to remind you that, again, we are in Cranston. This is a raid. We're going to be doing Road Patrol Live later. I want to remind people about Post Road, Rhode Island Gun and Ammo. Go right ahead. Right there, Post Road in Warwick, right near Greg's, right near Cosmic Pizza, and right near O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop it and see George. Think of if you were living right now in Springfield, Ohio, where they have 20,000 Haitians have just been plummeted in there. Folks, the police, as you know, the police can't be everywhere. You have a right to defend yourself. For those that are subscribers, I posted on the page that they just convicted someone, gave a life sentence for someone involved in a gang shooting in Pawtucket where a member of Bucket West was taken out. Listen, if you own a firearm, or if you're thinking of getting a firearm, stop into Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. At the very least, you should get a defensive shotgun. Stop in. If you own a firearm, pop in and see George. Maybe you're thinking of getting one or a new one. He has a great selection, all different types of firearms. It's Rhode Island Gun and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick, and it's right near the Cranston line, right near Greg's, Rhode Island Gun and Ammo. You can find them on Facebook. So, folks, good afternoon. Right now at 1:52 on this day after the primary day. Just to what you're looking at right now, this is a raid being conducted. Yes, he can, as a matter of fact. Raid being conducted by Homeland Security investigations, excuse me. We'll have more details. I did send them an email, and we'll have some of that later. I think the big stories locally now from primary day is that Patricia Morgan will now face off against Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, and also Mayor Ken Hopkins, the mayor of Cranston. He, in fact, Mayor Hopkins, he defeated Barbary and Fenton Fung in that Republican primary for mayor, and I don't think Mayor Hopkins will have a tough time in the general election to get another term to be mayor of Cranston. And obviously, the big national story is, in fact, the debate last night. And you're gonna, those that saw it. I don't know exactly the numbers yet. I want to repeat, it's impossible. I find it's virtually impossible to know what type of impact that debate has on undecided voters in the battleground states. So you have to look at, again, if you're a Trump supporter, it has no bearing on you. If you're a Harris supporter, I don't think it has any bearing on you last time. But the question to me is, in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, in Arizona, in Nevada, in Wisconsin, in Michigan, how many independent, undecided voters watched the debate, and how did the debate have any bearing on who they're going to vote for? So, I don't know, and I'd be very curious, because that's what it's going to come down to. Maybe some of them said, hey, I thought that she was really disrespectful to him. That's possible. It's very, very possible. So maybe, it's very possible that there were some people saying, wow, I was going to vote for him, but forget it now. I'm going to vote for her. I don't know. I mean, I guess so. So, but what last night is definitely going to do is it certainly helps her with fundraising. The Taylor Swift, endorsement, that helps with fundraising. So, all in all, last night was actually a good night for Harris. Now, getting back to what you're looking at, for those that are watching, and again, we are live on both TikTok and Facebook, what you're looking at is, and just to show, so what you're looking at is this is a raid going on right now in Cranston, Rhode Island. Those individuals you see in front of you, if you look closely on their waist, you see their handguns, they have badges. Those are all agents with Homeland Security investigations. So they arrived here early this morning. They obviously had search warrants to be able to get into this house, and that's where we stand right now, where they're very methodical, boxing up all these items. Now, they will come back, or somebody's going to show up, and they're going to lug all of these boxes away. But that's what's going on. Now, many times, just so people understand, now right now at 1:56 on this Wednesday here in the East, they don't tell us in real time what this is about. They don't tell us, hey, you know, what's happening. You know, they don't hold a street side press briefing. Many times, for those of you that follow Road Patrol Live, when we're out, the police will come over, tell us what we know, here's what happened. They don't do that, the agents. So I will have something up on the website, depetro.com. Usually they get back to me by the end of the day, but they're involved with a number of different things. We don't know if there's raids going on somewhere else, but this is going on in Cranston, Rhode Island, where, and by the way, back in the spring, there was a raid in Cranston, and it had to do with some individuals. It was multi-state, and it had to do with individuals that were moving stolen goods. Now, the reason, what was interesting was back in the in the spring was that it was connected to thefts from Home Depot. There were large-scale thefts in several states, and I think they were selling them online, and they were returning them to Home Depot. There was definitely a Home Depot connection going back. So, yes, thank you, everybody. So, again, I want to put out, we're going to be coming up to the 2 o'clock news. So, everybody on Facebook, you know, we will be doing Road Patrol Live later. For those that are watching on TikTok, first of all, if you like this type of live coverage, you can, in fact, send a... you could send an iced coffee, or at the very least, make sure you like this live stream and then follow the page, and then you can see our live police action. So we will be out. Nope, that is Homeland Security investigation. Now, we will have more information later on the website, depetro.com, and we plan on being live later. So someone is actually sending me some information right now. I plan on posting it coming up. So again, I want to thank everyone. You are watching. This is the Road Patrol live report on this Wednesday and September 11th. Remember, never forget September 11th. Stand by for the 2 o'clock news, and we'll be back tomorrow on the radio at 11, and we will be doing Road Patrol Live later on this, what is just a beautiful Wednesday. But in the meantime, stand by for the 2 o'clock news. Make sure you follow the page, like the page. And I want to thank JR and everybody. But this is Homeland Security Investigations live raid right now in Cranston. And all right, folks, I believe I do have some info right now coming in on this. Let me just double check. Hold on, let me check. sidewalk. This is Cranston's finest, taking care of the trees.
My mother's house too, Bob.
It took my mother a year after she passed away. They finally removed the tree. All right, folks, we're gonna have much more later. Much more later coming up.